Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the show of the night. I know you just finished watching Unapologetic Sports. Those boys got into it. They talked about Super Bowl odds. They talked a little bit about soccer with Brian with a Y. We won't see Brian for I guess another 4 years because I don't know how much soccer talk we're gonna do here. Um, so Brian got the best vacation plan of all the junkies or all the people affiliated with us. Um, Today it's Tuesday, y'all. Um, hey man, it's the gateway. It's the gateway to get us to the middle of the week. It's the Tuesday night flight. It's the sideline junkies. We present something to you. Now I know y'all used to be having crazy backgrounds. This one, I'm kicking it a little old school. Osh KG's daughter, when she got in the drawing, she made this, and we made it a background. So I'm gonna kick it old school tonight, taking it back to shoot. This was like year two, I think. Um, so we're gonna kick it like that. What we gonna talk about? Man, last night, I don't know if you guys were on the network. I encourage everyone that wasn't on the network and didn't see it. Check out the Pretenders or Contenders slash Drive Time collaboration. And we'll get into that early on. We'll talk about Spain winning the World Cup. We'll talk about Ryan Fox breaking the heart of the Midnight Rider. Um, just when he thought that he was going to get a little money, something. I was thwarted at the end, man. ESPN with some layoffs, the SEC threatening to leave the NCAA, but there's more to that. So let's not concentrate on the leave. Let's concentrate on the more. We got LeBron James. He's starting to get like Brandon Ayuk as the LeBron turns. We got the Miles report, and then we hit you at the end with two conversation pieces. One is a little wrestling, the other's a little baseball. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go, in the words of the great Bill Raftery, we're gonna go straight man to man, and we're gonna talk sports. This time we're gonna feature the other person's expertise or expertise. So KG's the wrestling fan, and I'm the baseball fan. So here we go, 1-on-1 with the great one. With that being said, I'm the Midnight Rider. He's the big guy, KG. I'm gonna turn this over to him because I don't want to do too much more. I'm good. I'm gonna let you have this.
Well, thank you for that rousing introduction there, Midnight Rider. Again, welcome to the Tuesday Night Flight presented by the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network. You'll see my hands moving around. I got me something new today. Old school, you know. Old school. Picked it up. But so I got me something a little new, so my hands are gonna be moving today. It's something to keep my hands, keep me occupied, so I'm paying attention. Because I got to do something with my hands. And the fidget spinner's too loud. So welcome to another edition of Midnight Rider. Most importantly, how you feeling tonight?
I'm good, man. I'm good, man. And I hope everybody had fun Sunday because I know I was on one Sunday. So, yeah.
Let me tell you something about Sunday. When I tell you, it was like that scene in Purple Rain when the manager of First Avenue was like, the kid is in rare form tonight. That's what he was. That's where he was. Look, only thing you didn't do, you didn't do Computer Blue, and you didn't do Darling Nikki. That's the only thing you didn't do.
Yeah, but I think I did a lot of other stuff.
So,
like I made it halfway through the show, and I just like, KG. Well, I tell you, that dude just. I know you were having fun because I was in red form.
Look, that's one of them things. I just put my hands up and let you go for it. So now from Sunday into last night, which was Monday, we had the collaboration between two shows on the network: Drive Time featuring Matty Ice, Scooter, and Showtime Sarah, and Pretenders or Contenders with Coach Powell, minus the gentleman to my left, I guess that would be. But they did a collab show, Behind the Whistle, the summit, where you had 4 officials and 4 coaches having a dialogue of what can be better and the challenges and everything. And that's just part 1. That's just part one. Midnight Rider, take it away.
Hey man, the officials were great. The coaches were great. The fact that they were open. Miss Jamie, I think she stole the show. Um, we just had a good time, man. And the good thing, and the one thing I wanted to commend Maddie on for the way he structured the show was he made it so it wasn't going to be this finger pointing back and forth. You got to do this, you got to do that. It was a great open discussion. Um, I know I've heard some good things from some people. I'm waiting on words from others. I know there's a part two. We won't call it the Electric Boogaloo, just so you know. It'll just be part two. Um, and then the other part about this, where we go from there is I think we're going to incorporate some other pieces of the elements of sports and fandom and parenting. We might go into a level of some parents. We might go into a level of some, some of the sideline members that aren't male or female. Aren't male, they're females. And they're burgeoning into this, this space of high school sports as well. So we got options. We got options. And the best thing about it was I feel like everybody walked away from the conversation um, wanting to do another episode or wanting to do it again in some capacity, some form.
I think that the way I agree with you, and I commend Maddie, Coach Devon, on how it was structured. I think that right there just opened up the lines of communication. And then when part two comes, it's just further dialogue, and it makes everything better. Let me just say that. And the absolute best part is that you were able to get everybody in, everybody on screen, no hiccups. Like I was sitting there, I was in and out, and I was like, oh, there's no lag and no hiccups. Oh, everything was just great. And it's the inner producer of me, because I know we've had some really, really big shows, not as big as that, but we've had some big shows and we've had technical issues. So from a technical side, everything just flowed and it was beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, you get the normal hiccups. A person has some noise in the background here and there. Um, Somebody's on mute. So they said the best thing they ever said the whole time while they were on mute. Um, what else did we get? A couple times you had the coaches had to hop out and hop back in just because of signal. But the fact that they were so willing to do it, cats were driving home, getting back to their families because they had a day out, and they did this was amazing, man. So I commend everybody involved. I commend Maddie and company for the structure. Um, all the referees, all the coaches, everybody involved, man. I was just upset because I couldn't get into the conversation, but the right people were in the right places, so it was perfect.
Absolutely. Uh, Maddie said, "Thanks, guys. I was so happy. I was so happy with it, man. You should be, Maddie. You should
Yeah.
be. You, Coach Devon, everybody that participated. Y'all should be really, really happy, because that's something that nobody else is doing. Nobody else is hearing from officials and coaches coming together to talk about what's going on. That's absolutely wonderful. And this, not to gush too much, but this is what I always say: when you look at things and you smile because you see dreams coming true. Yeah, y'all make dreams come true, man. And I'm appreciative of all of it personally. And just keep doing what you're doing. And Matty Ice, man, like, I think we got to get Maddie like a traveling cameraman too. So when he's out at the game and he's doing stuff, we just got, we just check in. It's just a whole vlog, just all Maddie. And then it's like Maddie and family goes where? And it's like season one. We just do it in seasons.
Right.
And then we drop the seasons all summer.
Netflix has quarterback. We got Ice, Matty Ice.
Look, man, just all summer long. Season one, season two.
Call it Beyond the Ice.
See,
Let's go.
this is why they pay you the big bucks. Oh man. But again, big shout out. Matty Ice, Scooter, Coach Devon, everybody. Like
Showtime.
Showtime was on last night too. I didn't see her.
Showtime was controlling the comments, so she was shooting up the comments every time um on the backstage because that 10 gets crowded. So they did 9 on the screen and had her in the background just popping up the basically running the show from the background.
Wow.
Yeah, so we didn't get our normal hair flips until the very end. Yeah.
And Maddie said he going to see John Mellencamp tonight. See, all right, we got to put the fiscal budget together. He needs his own camera personnel, boom mics, everything. Just put it in the budget. Anthony checking in. What's happening, Anthony? Good to see you, brother. And he even said that was a good show last night.
Yo, Anthony, always thank you for the support. And thanks for
Appreciate it.
I know Sunday you was having fun, so yeah. You and I both.
Anybody that did not watch it, please go back and watch it. It is on YouTube, it's on Facebook, it's even on X. Go back and watch it. Anthony said it for me. I didn't realize how difficult it is for coaches and referees to deal with parents and how much they sometimes have to explain the rules to parents.
Dude, you just don't know, man. Last year I was almost tempted to like I think I brought it up to coach one day. I said maybe we should do a to start the season, you get like you have a session with parents, um, and it's just called football 101. And you kind of like just kind of teach them pieces of the game because I know for a fact, you know, from my seat, I was sitting here I was explaining so many rules to people around me. It was crazy. And then I had the young ladies that just wanted to yell the whole game. They had zero idea what they were yelling about, but they just were loud, energetic. Um, they actually became best friends with Miss Jackie, the boss man, Mrs. Boss Man. So it was a good time hanging out last season at Laurel. I don't know how many Friday nights we got this year. But I'm gonna try to get out, do what I do. We do all the time, man. Just hang out. Me and B normally just sit there and we sit there and talk the game, and then it's funny because a call will get made and people don't know the rules. So I'm like, look, guys, that's intentional grounding, so it's gonna be a loss of down, or it's a 15-yard penalty, blah blah blah. Yeah, I did that the whole time I was out there.
And to tell you something, because I use a story a lot, whether it's online or offline. I use a story that you told a while. I think this might have been the early days about the kid and his mom saying she wanted to build this brand. I use that story a lot. And I
Oh
always use that as, sometimes parents can derail their kids' career before it even gets started because they're thinking way bigger than what
yeah,
the kid is at the time. And I always like to put it in perspective. I say, you know what, you were Jerry Stackhouse and that was your Kwame Brown. You ain't averaging no 20. You averaged 7
nah,
last year. You might
actually
average 9,
that's the
but you
crazy
ain't
part.
averaging no 20.
Nah, that story goes backwards. Like he was averaging. The part I didn't get was you were somewhere where you were getting numbers, and you decided. I mean, you decided to go somewhere else where you didn't have the same opportunity. Like you stay with us, you the man. You go somewhere else, you the guy next to the guy next to the guy next to the guy that called the piccolo player an MF. So I mean, it is what it is.
Anthony said, I feel no matter how much these coaches and referees explain the rules to the parents, there are always some parents that think they know better and they want to live through their kids. Yeah.
You get a little bit of everything with that, Anthony. I'm glad you said that because some of the misconception is, oh, they're living through their kids, but some of it is just they just want the dream more than the kid wants to dream. Sometimes that kid ain't putting the work in that mama think, or like that's also something that I would love to see is Coach Powell get the pen out, Maddie get the pen out. KG get the pen out. But maybe we do a show where we had kids that have just graduated, played their freshman year in college, and have them come back. And the sum of this, them talking about like what they learned from their freshman year. Like how different is the world? Because it's a different world.
It is. And, I'm on the other side because I never formally coached any sport. I've always been a mentor, but I never coached. And when Dario was playing football, and I would always ask the coach after practice, what does he need to work on?
What's he need to do?
And the coaches tell me everything all the time. Their offensive coordinators tell me all the time. He got to stop trying to run everybody over. He ain't big, but big as a minute. And I was like, I think that's my fault.
Right.
And he said, why you say that? I was like, I was showing him Earl Campbell highlights.
Yeah,
we're gonna need you to stop showing him Earl Campbell highlights because Dario will put his head down and try to run everybody over.
Yeah, get that boy some Marcus Allen. Get him some OJ.
Yeah. And I would ask, hey, this is what what I was working with him with. What should I work with? And we would walk after practice, and I would stay with Dario after practice till it got dark. And I'd be like, all right, tomorrow you don't have any practice, so this is what we're gonna do after school. We're gonna crab the hill, and we're gonna do this, and this.
Yo,
and it's not me sitting out there and I'm watching him do it. No, I'm gonna go out there and do it with you.
Yeah, we had this summer. My nephew, there's no way that dude didn't. He probably gained 10 or 15 pounds messing with us. 10 pounds with us, messing with us. Got super strong and was just like this. The only thing that didn't happen for him that summer was a growth spurt. If he ain't gotten that growth spurt, oh man. But he ain't get it to his senior year. I was like, you mother. He only grew to like 5'10", but still, it was just like, you waiting for your growth
It's still
spurt.
that growth spurt.
Yeah.
Anthony said reports about TKO thinking about selling WWE back to Vince. That's been a rumor for like the last 4 or 5 months, almost 6 months, about the old man getting back in control. So I say take it with a grain of salt.
But there's been something, and this is the part where I hate the space we're in on a news level, because I've seen several reports where there's talk of like there's like this loop, there's this thing legally that he can do or whatever. So we'll see how that plays out. Let's just play by ear. Anthony, stick around because we do have some wrestling later, and maybe we get your opinion on it. Let's go ahead. Let's go.
All right.
Let's matriculate the show down the field.
Let's matriculate it. All right. Now here's what I'm happy about, because if I could make the camera pan and you can see me walk and talk my shit, because Spain won the World Cup 1-0. That's what I want. That's what I've been geeked up about all day, because I can talk my shit about Spain winning the World Cup.
When you do that voice, you know who you sound like, right? Darnell from the league. He getting that voice. He's like, man, we gotta get him going. I'll be like, yo, all right, my bad. I didn't know we was done. I didn't know we was getting this hype. Oh, y'all got me going now. I'd be like, all right, here we go. You about to talk about Rodney? That's the best natural rivalry in the joint. In the college football thing. You and Coach Powell starting to develop something. But yeah.
Coach Powell always calling me out, but he ain't got to worry about it now, because we ain't got to worry about those improprieties at Notre Dame anymore. Anthony said, my friend's 14-year-old son who started playing soccer and baseball, he was 5'9", he grew a spurt, and now he's 6'7", and most people are telling him to play football.
If he's 6'7", man, he can do a couple
things.
Can
he shoot from the wing?
That's what to say. Can he shoot a basketball first? And then second, I would even see if he's still playing soccer, instead of playing out front, see if he wants to be a goalie. That'd be a crazy thing to walk into. Like I was listening to and maybe you want to give your thoughts on this. So I was listening to Grant and Danny. First, hold on. Let's talk about Spain. I know you did your thing, but let's talk about Spain. The beauty of what Spain did was they dominated, and whoever the Argentinian, Teenan, Tiny, whatever it is, um, whoever he was, he had a performance. He stood on his head. He kept Argentina in that game the whole time. And for him to give up that goal late, I know he's gonna feel bad, but he can't. He shouldn't feel bad at all. It was one of the best performances from a goalie. Um, I wouldn't be surprised what the memes look like in Argentina on his behalf. Um, but nah, Spain just played the game. I mean, I think the thing was like either Argentina didn't register a shot on goal or they didn't take their first one until like the second overtime, which is that's bananas in its own right. So
The simple fact that the game went to overtime, you had to play extra minutes. I think that made it better than what it is.
what's this? I was wrong, Steichen. That oh whoa, let's go. He thought Spain was going to be out physical by Argentina. I think that's what
Yeah.
he's trying to get to.
And he said his growth spurt wasn't just height. The kid jumped up
Oh,
to weight. He's 290 pounds already. Yeah, man, go play football.
he
Put
got to either play
right on the
football
end, right in
or
the middle.
yeah, he beyond his soccer days at 290.
What does footwork look like?
Nah, he 290, dog. He
I
ain't no
mean,
day.
290 left tackle.
Oh yeah,
Is
that's
he
what
an
I mean.
agile 290?
Because he could be a dancing bear, as they call him. In the words of my man Mike Mayock, he might have some oily hips.
Freaking oily hips, boy. I remember I was high on AJ Hawk, and coach that I used to work with, he was like, AJ Hawk ain't got no hips. He can't turn around. He got no hips.
Yeah, baby, you gotta have hips, baby.
He said he played goalie most of his life, and he was a center fielder.
Okay.
Hell, he can actually play baseball if he wanted to.
6'7", 290. You don't want that. You don't want that baseball life because
Pitcher,
you probably
if
got
he
a
got some
long
arm
swing and
strength.
you gotta figure that out. Go ahead and tell him get on that football field and see what it be like. What you got next?
Next up, this is the one that hurt Midnight Rider. Ryan Fox
Yeah, man.
wins the Open Championship at 10 under. What's crazy, I think the correspondent said on Friday that this would be what between 10 to 13 under the win.
Yep.
And Scotty Burns, boy. I'm sorry, Sam Burns. I'm looking at Scotty Scheffler, but Sam Burns was 2 over in round 4. You talk about late collapse. If he would have finished even, he would have had 10 under. All he had to do was 1 under par, and he got this championship won. Who did you have?
Well, if we had won, we'd been going to Sizzler. Yeah, he messed up the Sizzler money. It wasn't enough to get the church lights back on, but there was some Sizzler money on the table. But nah, it's just Burns. When I told the correspondent on Friday that I had Burns and a couple other people, he said Burns has a tendency that when he gets to Sunday, it falls apart on him sometimes. And sure enough, and I kept staring at all day Saturday. I kept staring at the cash out, and I told you it's like the baccarat table, baby. I can't, because if he wins it, I lose. I done lost money. So I stuck it out, stuck through the pain, through the fire of it all. But yeah, it is what it is, man. This is why gambling is gambling, man. You win some, you lose some, you know. I should have knew when to hold them, knew when to fold them, and knew when to walk away, but I didn't.
Well, it's funny you said that because the title of the show for tonight is Through the Storm. For those that don't know, we got a storm coming up the East Coast, high winds, rain, thunder, and lightning. And I wanted to piggyback off of Unapologetic and their name, and I was like, hey, they going into the storm, we riding through the storm. So, and then I started thinking when I typed that, I started thinking about the song Through the Storm and the Rain, wherever. Yeah, I was like, oh shit, okay. All right, little Tanya Blunt for you.
Time out. What are we doing here? Because you do know I knew what the show name was, right? You do know that was kind of intentional, right? What are we doing?
It was.
What are we doing here?
I'm just looking at everybody else in the open.
So the crazy thing about the open was on Friday, you had a couple people jump up with like some great days. Like there's a -8. You know, you got the Bryson DeChambeau situation where DeChambeau like gets a penalty. So then the whole thing is after the round, and the rules people say actually saved him from getting disqualified. So they said, oh, we're gonna do the penalty before he walked off the green, because I think if he walks off and signs his card, he gets disqualified if that ruling happens. So they actually saved him and looked out for him. And the fact that he decided to stomp and argue and fight and fuss and throw a tantrum, so they assessed him a 2-point penalty for basically making the law better than what it was. In golf, you know, you're not supposed to, like, if you're stuck in a puddle, you're stuck in something, unless they grant you relief from that obstacle, you cannot move, change, or disturb what's going on around that golf ball. And even if that golf ball moves a subtle, like it ain't gotta roll. It could just be a little half, like a quarter turn while you're around it, and that's a stroke. That's a penalty. So I don't know what he was arguing about. He did make the law better. So I mean, unfortunately, he in a sense he was kind of like LeBron James in this thing because he held up the tournament because they had to do his ruling. It changed the matchup. So in golf, after the first 2 rounds, the way you are set in the standings sets up your pairings. So the last pairing is always going to be the first 2 people. The next pairing is going to be third and fourth, right? And that means, so at the end of the day, if you're at, so say like the top 64 make it, all right? I'll make it this way. At 8 a.m. or whatever the first tee time is, 64 and 63 are going out. The second tee time is 62 and 61. And it goes all the way up the thing until we get to 1 and 2. So that's why always the last golfers are the top 4 golfers by standings the night before.
Okay. Well, shit. You just taught me something new. That was a $17 million purse.
Yo, that was some crazy money. Shoot.
Yeah, I mean, I
think Sam still, I think, walked away with like, I think he walked away with 3.2. I got to double check it, but he still got all some cash.
Yeah, you finished third. Of course, you got something. Yeah. He was leaving there with something.
Yeah. Now, I didn't, but he did.
I will say this. I think I can speak for you in saying this. I think we both could use 17 million. You know, just
well that's the whole, 17 mil is the whole purse, and then that purse gets distributed throughout the way you finish.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. See, okay. So yeah, it's not just one person getting 17 mil. The purse is, all right, there's 17 million that we distribute throughout the golfers based on how they finish. So like there's sometimes when you watch a golf tournament, like there's a guy that's struggling and he's losing it, and like he double bogeys on 18, or he may have dropped from 5th to 10th. You know what I'm saying? So he done that bogey, that double bogey, didn't cost him a couple $100,000. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Midnight Rider in here teaching tonight. Teach on, brother. Teach on.
Each one teach one, baby.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break. Come back, and we're gonna talk some ESPN going WWE. I got a list of layoffs, and I'm a little perturbed, but we'll be back and we'll get into it. Stay tuned.
All right, there we go. Sideline Junkies Podcast Network. That was the commercial for the show that's before us, Unapologetic Sports, home of some of the best graphics in the world. Because Flying Brian do his thing. Give him a shout out. Yo, what I love is the creativity in this group because everybody takes something, finds something, and like you build off of it. Um, the bits be bitten, but this is the Tuesday Night Flight. We are the Sideline Junkies. I'm the Midnight Rider. That's the big guy KG, and what we're gonna try to get into. And KG, if you don't mind, I'm gonna take a little run at being Q-Tip in this scenario, if you don't mind being Fife, because I know you got the information. But ESPN has decided to do some layoffs. Now, I think we all saw this on the horizon. We saw this coming down the train tracks. We saw that when they acquired NFL Network, that they couldn't keep all the NFL Network people and all the people from their network. So we knew there was going to be some downsizing involved. But let's kind of talk to some of the downsizing and who got downsized. And before you even go, I'm gonna put this out here now. They bet not touch Daniel Jeremiah, and they bet not make Daniel Jeremiah sit on the ESPN stage with Mel Kiper. I still want NFL Network to have its own draft show. That's all I'm saying. I need our own draft show and our own pregame. That's all I need. Go ahead, KG.
See, knowing that this was done because of this is due to the acquisition of NFL Network. So Ryan Clark, everybody's been talking about it. That was the one that everybody's been talking about. Ryan Clark from the NFL.
But his was like on air. Like they had to pull him mid-show. Because I think so the rumor I heard was shout out to our guy JP Finley, but he said that like it must have been a situation where somebody was going to report it because they caught one of it beforehand before ESPN could announce it. So they had to take him off air so it wouldn't happen while he was talking, and like people would start reaching out to him while he was doing his hit on that show. But that's also you got to think about it. That's you can't blame ESPN for that. That's how information goes in this era of ours.
Yeah,
In this
and
information
everything's right now, and it's at your fingertips.
Yeah.
Carl Ravitch, MLB play-by-play, Sports Center anchor at times, gone. That's my guy from MLB Tonight.
Yeah.
He was just on my Mount Rushmore a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, that one hurts.
Tom Pelissero, NFL insider. That hurts.
I think I
David
think
Lloyd. Huh?
I think Pelissero is going to do one or two things. He's either going to end up at Fox FS1 in some capacity, um, or he's going to be on like the CBS morning show, so he can drop news. And then in his worst case scenario, I think he goes the route of the way some of these other guys have gone from like the Post and all these other places where they do a Substack. And when you do a Substack, it's basically like a it's not a podcast, it's a what's the thing from back in the day? When you wrote your little journal and everybody would go and read your journal or read your
A
little
blog.
note, a blog. It's almost so the Substack is kind of like the updated version of the blog.
Gotcha.
I can see him doing something like that.
David Lloyd, Sports Center anchor, gone. Cam Newton, from First Take contributor, NFL contributor, gone. Your fantasy analyst Stephanie Bell, gone.
Stefania.
Stefania, I'm sorry.
Yeah, because she was your fantasy expert and your injury expert.
Yes. I wrote that wrong. That's my handwriting. I'm reading that from my handwriting, so I wrote that wrong.
No, you're good.
Bart Scott, NFL radio man, NFL period. Can't wait. Gone. Now this one right here, I think this pissed me off more than Pelissero and Ryan Clark. And that's Charles Davis. You let Charles Davis go. Now, granted, Charles Davis got that Madden money. I get that. But you let Charles Davis go.
Can I say why? So I think the reason, and this is just me. This is if you want to play a sound of reckless speculation. This is the on the mind of the Midnight Rider. I think Charles Davis is too good at what he does. And what I mean by this, now you gotta hear me out. There's a reason the last 30 years, like we got like 2 years of Pete Medhurst on the microphone doing a show. Because what he isn't going to give you the song and dance. He's just going to give you the goods. Like he's not going to get on there and hoop and holler and be like, "Oh, I think next year we should be playing on Mars. If the NBA was serious about basketball, we'd be playing on Mars next year." That's not what he's going to do. Pete going to tell you, "All right, look, this is how it breaks down." You know what I'm saying? Like I used to love, to this day, I have a thread with Pete Medhurst and Joe Mill, and it was my ritual preseason, every football season. This is where we kind of got the thought process of the top 5 quarterbacks. I would send Joe Mill, Pete Medhurst, my top 5 preseason, and they will respond to me with who they thought, where they thought was going on, boom, boom, boom. And then probably like week 8 or week 10, I'd do it again. And it was just information hunting, because I know when people watch it a certain way, and I think Charles Davis has this way of, Charles Davis can tell you how the sun sets in the west and the reason why, and how it sets in the east. Whereas somebody else would be like, "Well, it's amazing and it's crazy that the sun sets in the west. The west is the best part of the country. That's why it sets there." Like, no, that's not part of it. It's part of like the way the earth rotates. You know what I'm saying? Like Davis gives you too much information. He gives you the bacon. He doesn't give you this. He's not worrying about the sizzle.
Now, I'm a Fox guy.
I don't know why, but okay.
Because Terry Bradshaw. I miss Jimmy Johnson, but I got Terry Bradshaw. I got Kurt Menefee.
I don't know why.
I got Michael Strahan.
Still don't know why.
It's more along the lines for Terry Bradshaw. I love TB12. But if Fox is smart, you go poach Brandon Godden and put him and Charles Davis together and make that your B team.
You mean no? So he's already on. He's on somebody's NFL duties, and he's also got college football duties. He's been
Who, Charles
promoted.
Davis?
Yeah, Charles Davis is like the number one color guy on. I think is it him and Gus? I don't
Him and
remember.
Gus would be epic.
I don't know if it. I don't know. I think that's the number one team for Fox college football. But I know he's on their number one team. And
Now I'm
then I
talking
think
NFL wise.
okay, but see, you got to let him get through Saturday first, and then we can figure out the travel and get him to Sunday. But I know he does Sundays. I just don't know how high up on the chart he is on the teams. Like I feel like he's like a team 3 or team. I mean, I'm sorry, team 4, team 5 guy. Like I feel like unfortunately for him, he'll get tagged up with like Chris Myers and let him bumble and stumble and not make any sense, and we got to still deal with that. Or
Well,
he gets Dick Stockton. No mind. That's a whole nother story. I'm gonna stop.
keep Dick
I'm gonna
Stockton
stop.
name out your mouth.
I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop. I already know we got beef over that one. So go ahead. Let's go.
You know, that's one of my guys too. I mean, the old school guys, the old guard, of course, I love them, but I like a lot of the new guys too. Now, Gus Johnson, you mentioned Gus Johnson. I've been a Gus Johnson fan since like the early 90s when he used to do sports on Fox 5
Yeah,
on
WTTG.
the weekends. He was the sports guy before Buck Hanson's during the week. He was a sports guy before. It wasn't Wally Bruckner because he was on. I can't remember who was the weekend guy, who became the weekend guy after he left. Andres Hale, combat sports reporter, he's gone. And Dale Hodge Ducky, ESPN.com staff writer, gone.
And there's gonna be more. I mean,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think this is part of the reason why I think Linda Cohn retired instead of doing anything else, because I think she knew that this was coming down the pipeline, and sometimes it's better to get out ahead of the storm. If you've listened to this network before and you've heard us talk, we always talk about the difference between a cow and a buffalo, how the buffalo runs to the storm and the cow tries to run away from the storm. And Linda Cohn decided to run to the storm to get through it quicker instead of letting it resonate and deal with the after part.
And he said, Midnight Rider, don't get your hopes up. That's what's going to happen. They're going to merge the ESPN Drive Show and the Drive Show on NFL Network. That'll be the dumbest thing possible. And I say that they're going WWE with this because, you know, WWE always does a round of layoffs every year. You cannot take over a company and then say, you know what, we're going to fire all these people. That company is independent. You may be the parent company. Let it run itself independently over there. You do your thing over there. That's that. That's what WWE messed up with WCW, but that's another story for Saturday night. ESPN is messing up too much because you have people that are on Sundays during football. You have your CBS people, your Fox people, your NFL Network people, your ESPN people. So you have 4 choices that you can choose from. Now you just took it down to possibly 3.
Let's just wait and see how it plays out. I don't want to get pre-mad, in the words of JP Finley. That's one of his favorite terms. Is don't get pre-mad.
And he said, I think she probably joined the guy who used to work with Mel Kiper on the ESPN on his podcast.
You talking about which one call it? No, I don't know who was on his podcast. I believe Tom ends up going to the guy's podcast who used to work with Mel Kiper on ESPN. Oh, he's talking about
Pelissero going over there.
Huh?
He talking about Pelissero going over there.
But he's talking about what's his name? The college guy. Gosh, I can't think of his name. I listen to him all the time. He's got the gray haired beard guy with him. He used to do the draft shows on ESPN. Come on, KG, you know what I'm talking about. white guy. He's like kind of like JP Finley, kind of same build, same style. All right, I ain't gonna worry about it because Anthony gonna put it in the comments and I'm gonna be like, yeah, him.
He said, I think the girl who does the fantasy for NFL Network is going to do overall fantasy with both ESPN and NFL Network. She just got to let go.
You talking about Cindy?
I thought, hold on, wait. It's more than, hold
Oh,
on, hold on, hold on.
so Tanya Bell does the ESPN side. I think he's talking about the young lady that does the analytics on I think her name is Cynthia, and I apologize because I didn't think we were going to go into this, but I think her name is Cynthia. She's on ESPN Network. I'm not ESPN. She's on NFL Network. So I think she's going to be their main um person when it comes to this conversation and this topic.
You know what? I'm going to say something. With these layoffs, I've never seen people show their true colors and be happy that somebody lost their job. Whether they're a mid six figure earner or not, I've never seen so many people happy that somebody lost their job. I didn't know people hated Ryan Clark the way that they do.
Well, you know why he said that. Cynthia
Yeah,
Freeland is the young lady that I was talking about. Um, and this is why I said I think he's one of those people that because of what he talks about, like there are times you give Ryan the platform, like Ryan took that time to talk about the injustice that was the Kyron Lacey situation where he committed suicide, and it was like it doesn't make sense that this kid was arrested and he was that person, he was this, But if you pay attention, you watch Ryan on Monday night post game. What we doing here? I mean, like he's killing it. It's him. You know what I'm saying? They doing their thing. So like it just doesn't make sense. But sometimes you ruffle the wrong feathers. But what I don't believe it is for all these people, because I think this is clickbait, and this is why sometimes I don't like the journalism of this world. Is they brought up the situation with him and Peter Schrager. That's not why. If that was the problem, they would let him go back then. They wouldn't.
exactly.
They wouldn't have held on to him. I think it's the part of the thing where he doesn't fit their dynamic because he's information based, not drama based.
I want to say something, but I'm gonna go ahead and leave it for after the show. I'm gonna put a note down here, and I'll say something to you after the show about
Just text it to me. Don't worry about putting a note. Just text it to me.
it. Because I mean, I got my thoughts, but I'll save my thoughts for
Yeah,
between you
yeah,
and I.
I think, yeah, I know. There's other conversations we can have about some other things too. So
Yeah,
say, yeah, I
yeah.
know.
But as you said, this is not the end.
And
As you
let's
said,
not
Todd
let's not
McShay.
fool ourselves because let's not say Todd McShay. Thank you. I knew Anthony was gonna have that. But I don't know if Todd McShay, the way McShay's show is shaped, I don't think it fits a Pelissero. Because most of his stuff now is more draft oriented. Like, oh, have you seen this guy? This guy. All right, now here, hold on. Gotta give it, got stretch it out. Get ready for it. Now here's a guy. Now here's a guy that he does great commentary, great stuff. But I think him and his sidekick, and I apologize for not knowing his name, but they do a lot of more. All right, I've seen this guy play college football. What are your thoughts on him? And it's more of a scouting perspective than an information perspective. And that's why I don't think Pelissero would fit what they're doing unless they want to expand. Yes, unless they want to expand the spectrum of what they do. But I think the way they do their show, it fits in what they are in their scope. So sometimes you don't dance outside. I heard a great line, and it's from Chris Connor from uh, Odyssey, the guy that runs 1067 and 980. He said, it's called a broadcast, not a narrowcast. So when it comes to your topics, you know, you want to talk to the topics that everybody's talking about, not to the topics that's niche and it fit into these small pockets because you gonna lose your audience by dealing in the small pockets. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta swim in the ocean. You can't swim in the creek.
I love it. Now this is one you got to explain to me. The SEC threatening to leave the NCAA. Like I'm sitting here and I'm writing and I'm taking notes and I'm like, yeah, he gonna really have to explain this because I got questions. So
So think about it like this: we keep talking about um the the end of the NCAA. We keep talking about conferences thinking about moving on and doing their own thing. And what started this conversation goes back to the kid Brendan Sorsby. Sorsby was the kicker or the person that made this. He almost made a way for this because if you pay attention, KG, what's been happening is colleges and conferences make a ruling, and we talked about this before. They make a ruling on a kid, boom. A couple days later, a couple weeks later, maybe even a couple months, the kid files for an injunction. The injunction, of course, is heard by some dude that's a fan of the school or a booster of the school or whatever. So he makes this garbage ruling that basically enables the school to keep this guy alive or eligible. I mean, we had Alabama speak on the behalf of a kid that played NBA basketball, and we wanted to give him college eligibility. We had Sorsby who broke the rules of gambling in college sports. So what I think the SEC and all these schools are trying to do is look, it's a little tainted, but let's I'm gonna keep this is gonna be the pure reason of what they're doing. I'm trying to give you the like a virgin style of this because what they want to do at heart and that principle is they want to be able because we don't have collective bargaining, we don't have all these things in place. So when the conferences make a ruling, it's law, right? So what they're trying to do is get maybe some antitrust or something that gives them concrete standing. So when I say, hey, this kid can't play, this kid can't go off and file a lawsuit and get a local judge to overturn it. Because that's what's been happening lately. And that's where the problem lies for these teams and for these conferences. So part of the SEC's problem is, we hear what they're trying to do with protecting college football, but we need that to be a priority. Because what they really want is just to be able to say, hey, these are the rules. This is what it is. Let us control what's going on. And part of that protecting college football is, you know, giving these kids one transfer because that's how the SEC, SEC is cool with that because back in the day, you get one transfer, that's it. You know what I'm saying? But the other reason the SEC is not cool with that is because they've seen some schools where kids have transferred multiple times, and those kids beat the SEC teams. So, let's limit this. You can't be better than us because you're not supposed to be.
so if the SEC were to withdraw from the NCAA, would they go to the NIAA? Like,
No, 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 no. So this is where they would become their own entity, and they wouldn't do this hastily. All right, this would be part of a process. So what they would do is whatever motion they have to make to secede from the SEC, they would do that. All right. Then the next thing they would do is they would go out and get their own TV deal because now they got to make the money back, or they would have to expand their TV deal so they can get more of the pie. Then what would happen is the second the SEC and the world said, "Oh, they can leave or they leave," hanging on to their coattail, like you tell me to do sometimes when we start the show. That's gonna be the Big Ten. Because now next the Big Ten is gonna want to succeed because they're gonna want to do their own rules and have their own things in place. Like this is what we've. This is the one thing that the NIL and the way college is set up that we've all been scared of because we knew it was coming. It's just inevitable. But unfortunately for the SEC and the Big Ten and all these other conferences and all these other big schools, because the reason why some schools are fighting the Big Ten, I mean the SEC on this college football act is because it limits the NIL. So now it kind of evens out the playing field a little bit and it limits what you can do. So like what was it? I think it's Texas Tech had like a $47 million NIL budget last year. Let's say allegedly to keep me safe. So if they had 47, but everybody else had 20, who getting the better players? So like
Absolutely.
we're fighting a battle where the haves and the have-nots are fighting each other, and then also we're trying to maintain the sanctity of college athletics. But here's the other crazy part, because there's also rumors of a 2014 tournament. So if there's a 2014 tournament, you gotta outlaw conference champions, and they're gonna want to outlaw conference champions because if they go independent or they form their own leagues, guess what? You ain't got to have a conference championship game. So now that becomes one of the first games you get to play in this whole process. So now instead of a kid playing, so let's think about it. They play 12 games. You play the conference championship game. That's 13. In a 2014 tournament, you go from 24 to 12, 12 to 6. And some, like in some formation, you're playing somewhere between 3 and 4 more extra games. So these college players go from playing 12 to 13 ball games and maybe a 14th because of a bowl game. So now they're playing 16 to 17 games. But now we're also bitch complaining about them playing, paying them. But you're paying them, but you're taking years off of their NFL career. That's the part that everybody doesn't think about. Like some kid in Indiana done played 17 games last year, and now when he gets in the pros, you're taking time off of his because the way the physical nature of the game, you're taking years off the end of his career. So how are we going to protect that kid that's in college? Now this is what it becomes, but we're not worried about that because the SEC, Big Ten, college football don't care about it because they're not collectively bargaining. So they don't care about the miles they're putting on these kids' bodies before they get there. And then the problem is the NFL doesn't care either because most of the time they're in cahoots with the NFL in the process to begin with. And I'm not going to bring up your man, Gene. I'm going to let you live on that one. But there's some cats that have been NFLPA personnel that they've allowed the NFL to put them in this situation. And I'm going to say it that way. So that way we don't argue because we're at about an hour and we probably want to hit at least 1 or 2 more topics before we get out of here.
True indeed. See, you triggered something. I'm gonna send you something.
No! Don't send it to me. Put it in the notes. Let's put it for Thursday.
No, there's something you got to see because
Okay.
it made me think about it.
Right.
So, let's jump out, take a break, take our final break of the night, and come back, and we'll go rapid fire.
Now let's go 1-on-1.
Huh?
Let's go 1-on-1. Let's do that last segment. Let's skip the Miles report and LeBron.
Okay.
Right.
So we'll do that last segment. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Sideline Junkies Podcast Network. I am the Midnight Rider. He is the big guy KG. That tomorrow is going to be your feature show tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. on the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network. It is called Nothing But Net. We take you around the association. Now, I think it's going to be JG, myself, and C. Perry because I know Josh is on vacation now, but we'll double check that to get you an accurate lineup. But for now, what we're going to do is do something different. We haven't done this before, but I'm going to take something that he's good at in terms of his wrestling knowledge and his knowledge of the sport. And then he's going to talk to me about something that I'm good at, which is my baseball knowledge. So what we're going to do is go 1-on-1. Well, we could say we're 1-on-1 with the great one, but let's do it. Let's make it happen, man. So how do you want to start? You want to just do volleyball style? You shoot a question, I shoot a question, or we want to do...
We can do that.
All right, let's go.
Question for you. Since we are coming up on trade deadline, do the Nats make a trade that's not going to make a ripple effect per se, but make a splash? Because they are sitting kind of pretty. They sitting a little bit better than what they should be sitting. And I think they are, I think the term that you like to use, out over their skis at 51-50.
Yeah, they're hanging out over the skis. So I think the situation for the Nats is there's a couple players that they can move. So, I used to write this thing. Oh, I know what I used to call it. There was a phrase I used to always use talking about finding love in the margins. So outside of what you normally do, you find it in the margins. And I think what the Nats can do is they can find players that can help them out, but they can't worry about it being in the paragraph. They can't worry about being in the full body of the letter. But they can do some moves in the margins that's going to help them out. So when I think about the margins, I think about a guy like Luis Garcia. I think about a guy like maybe Jacob Young. These are guys that they can net you something back. You're not going to get a haul. Maybe you can get a piece that's going to help you out. Maybe you can get you a couple of relievers here or there. Some guys that help you sustain, because now what they also do is they open up opportunities for people that's been playing good at AAA. Like they got the kid Mears that's playing third base, but if Garcia's gone, maybe he goes over to first, and you bring back Brady House. If you don't bring back Brady House, maybe you bring up Yo-Yo Morales. Like and then they've got a couple first basemen that they can bring up. So it's like you can do some things where, to the fans' blind eye, they may not see it as a big move, or they may question why you moving a guy that's got 20 home runs and having his best season ever. But what they got to understand is he's having his best season ever. Sometimes you got to sail high because you don't know what he's going to be next year. You know what I'm saying?
This could be his ceiling.
For sure.
And I mean, they say sell high, buy low.
Exactly. So on your side, is conversations and people talking. There's rumors about TKO and a possibility legally that like Vince McMahon can make a maneuver to get into this space that is back into control. Do you think it's possible? Or do you think this is like kind of just fodder for the internet?
If I'm being 100% honest, I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's possible. I really do. I mean, the public outcry is going to be way more than anything else because the old man is definitely not broke.
Right.
But I think it's more fodder because TKO is not making much money. I think they're starting to make money now, but, they've been at loss since their acquisition of WWE and UFC together. They've been at a loss the last year or so. They're not, come on now, SummerSlam tickets are $25. SummerSlam used to be sold out in minutes.
Right.
You know, that's why they're having so many difficulties with arenas and everything. That's why you're seeing a lot of PLEs over in Saudi Arabia. But I don't think it'll happen
Okay.
because if I'm being 100% honest, would you really want, as a wrestling fan, would you really want Vince McMahon to be back as the head of WWE?
No. But I
I
also worry
really
about I also have worries as a fan about the direction. But we'll say that for my next question.
and that's the thing also because Vince Vince is a control freak and he has to have a certain amount of control. For those that don't remember, during the pandemic, right before the pandemic, actually, Triple H, Shawn Michaels took NXT and had the highest ratings with the takeovers and everything. Uh, Tag team division, women's division, you had up and coming stars. Then when the pandemic hit, Vince took over the creative portion of NXT, changed the logo, changed everything about it, and it started to go down south. Vince McMahon is the one that changed Keith Lee from that Sunday night where he was white hot and won both championships. He comes out Monday. The goatee's gone. He's not the monster that he was the night before. And then you want to change his name to Bearcat Lee. I don't want that back in the house. Let Vince stay out in the pasture and enjoy his money and his days out there. That's just my personal opinion.
Okay. Question 2 from you.
Question 2. Now this is a tough one. I'm gonna go ahead and throw it at you. Are the Yankees finished without Aaron
Yeah.
Judge being fully healthy and he's not back now because he was expected to be back, but he's not back. He's not fully healthy. Are they finished?
No, I think the Yankees have done enough to keep their heads above water and make it any way they can. Um, so I think for them, it's more of a matter of what are you going to do? Like I hear the rumors of, hey, go get Mason Miller, the closer, go get you another bat, um, or go get you a pitcher. And I think the question is going to be, who are those people? Who are the people that you're going to go get? Because you can go get Miller to be your closer, and you can go get a pitcher, but is that enough? That's going to solidify everything else you got? Because you got the kid Schlitter, you got Cole, um, like you got options in pitching, but is that going to be enough to get you over, keep you going? And then the question becomes, when does Judge come back? Because he is that important piece. So you got to still like swim, and maybe you won't get the ideal playoff position that you want. But as long as you can get in the playoffs and you can get in the dance, you got a chance, especially when you got 9-9. But the only problem is, will 9-9 show up? That's the one thing I can give two. Two may not be the greatest player I've ever seen, but two will show.
Well, I'll say this about the 9-9. He's Showtime's third favorite player.
Exactly.
Ooh, she gonna kill us. You, all right, it's on you.
All right, let's go with this one. We got Braun Breaker, Austin Theory. I guess it's Maxine Devon becoming some form of a faction. Are we burying Braun Breaker after we made him look like Superman with with a faction that really just looks like um was it Judgment Day 2.0?
The vision is just Judgment Day 2.0.
What's
I believe putting him in a faction where he's not the centerpiece You really do that. Now, granted, you putting it with Paul Heyman, but
I
this
don't
ain't.
think Paul's. I don't think Paul's as invested.
He was supposed to be, but this is trash because think about this. I want to say it was about a year ago this time. Braun Breaker was your Intercontinental Champion.
Braun Breaker was breaking people in half, and see, this is the part I hate about the WWE is they build you up, they make you look like a giant, a world beater, and then all of a sudden here comes Rey Mysterio to pin you 1, 2, 3. I always say it all the time. Now we ain't got to the Rey Mysterio level yet, but it's just like now it's even with Jacob. Jacob was on a path. Now Jacob's what? He like the Tito Jackson of the bloodline. Like it just does. Oh, okay, go ahead. I think it's your question next.
You know what
Let's
I
go
heard
one
when you
more,
said
and then let's get out of here.
that? You know what I heard when you said that?
What?
Why do you build me up, Buttercup baby, just to let me down?
Oh.
That's exactly what I heard. And I'm like, that's exactly what they do.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what they do. So,
Something About Murray is a great movie. Just
oh,
let you know.
excellent. Well, we at 112. You want to do one more and get out, or we get out here?
Let's go one more. Let's go one more if you got one more.
I got one more for you, and this is we talking trade deadline, and this is a shocker that is even on the radar. But the Tigers, will they actually trade Scuba?
So the Tigers. So here's the problem right now. And I'm gonna say it this way. I'm not avoiding your question, but I want to give you some like clarity. Like there are a bunch of teams that would have been if the trade deadline was 2 weeks ago, they would have already been selling. So like the Boston Red Sox, I think the Tigers and teams like that would have been sellers instead of buyers. But now we've had these 2 weeks, and we probably got another week where they can improve their position. And now you start having to wonder: is all right? How much do you believe in this run? Like, is this run real? It's like how much do you want to invest in? How much do you want to put your hopes in what's right now, or what you can do for the future? Because last year we saw a team say take right now, grab it by the horns, and then end up flailing out, and that's the KC Royals. And now the Royals, they going like it just don't look good for the Royals. They don't have the young talent in the system. They don't have the person that they can move to replenish the system. Like they're at least 2 to 3 years away from even like having a person that they can move to like get them back in place. So with Detroit, it's okay. Do we sit in this moment and take our chance, or do we be smart, move on from some of this, and try to rebuild it? But the problem is when you rebuild it, it doesn't always come back the same. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
these teams don't always like those moves don't always work out. So like I think about perfect example is um my guy Caminero used to be an Indian. He got moved for a player, and now he's one of the best players in baseball. But that's because they was trying to get a reliever. But they didn't expect this kid jump to the level he's jumped to. Now, it's like that trade looks terrible. The John Smoltz trade for Doyle looks terrible in hindsight because of what Smoltz became. But sometimes you got to make the move for now. Take care of now, and you can't deal with the future. That's like the Demi Avia trade, the trade for Jose. Perfect example. The Nats trade Jose Ferreira to the Mariners because he was their closer of the future quasi. Well, this kid Harry Ford. Now, unfortunately, the early returns on Ford wasn't that good. But now, I mean, his first weekend in the majors this week. He's been killing it in Oakland. But Ferreira's been solid. But the problem is now people are like, oh, in hindsight, if we kept Ferreira, we would have won these games. Well, GMs can't deal in ifs and buts. You know what I'm saying? They can't deal in that if part. They either got to make a move to say, oh, this is where we are. Because outside of you, everybody else said this team is going to lose 100 ball games. So what's the point of having a great closer on the team that's going to lose 100 ball games? A, he ain't going to be that busy. He going to be about as busy as a castrated bull in a cow fertility clinic. So what are we doing here? Sometimes you gotta move on, and that's the problem. Is fans can't move on because they always want to be like, "Oh, we should have kept him." You know what I'm saying? You can't keep everybody. There's a part of this called planning, and sometimes the plan don't work. What?
I love the analogy because it's the truth.
Yeah.
And you know what? A long time ago, before I met a guy, I used to be like that too. I was always willing to hold on to talent and be mad as hell when they got traded away or they were released and then they went somewhere else and did, oh man, we shouldn't have did that. I told you it was that. No, everybody can't stay, everybody can't go.
Yeah.
It took me years to realize that I was one of those people.
I always say my favorite saying is sometimes you gotta stand on the cross or be willing to die on the cross of your beliefs.
I put it to you like this. When the Redskins at the time released Darrell Young, RG3, they had that whole round of release Alfred Morris. And I was like, Young, what are we doing? Like, Al's 1,000-yard rusher. Darrell Young's probably the best, one of the best fullbacks in the league. You know, RG3 will make it back. He'll be fine. Like, we just gotta we gotta nurse him back. Let him and Kirk work together. It's gonna be a Jim Kelly, Frank Wright thing. It'll be fine. Everybody couldn't stay.
Mm.
It was time to move on.
They would have never been Jim Kelly and Frank Wright because the hate and the dislike for each other was it was real. Ooh, all right. We got one more. Go ahead and ask your question. I think it's on you or is it on me?
It's on you. I just asked mine. I just asked
All
my third.
right. So my next question is what is the point of putting the belt back on CM Punk?
Ooh, man. You gotta look at it like this. Cody's getting ready to take off.
Okay.
He's gonna take off a little bit.
Okay. There we go.
Because now he's on the back end of the tour for Street Fighter. It's the back end of it. So he don't really have to be on the road much. But once you get up to the premiere and you do everything with Street Fighter and you know all the work that he has to do with that, he's gonna be gone for a bit.
Okay.
Let me see when Street Fighter comes out. So you got him, but who else do you have? Seth Rollins can't stay healthy right now.
That's a good bit that they put into that thing.
Street Fighter don't come out till October, so you know you got premieres. And
I got you. So he comes.
So that's what Cody's gonna be. Seth Rollins can't stay healthy. That knee is giving him a problem.
So
they're not really ready to put the belt on Obafemi. Not yet. They're not going to put it on Trick Williams as much as I would want them to. So you have to have a steady hand to steady the ship. If you want to be honest about it, you got to have a steady hand. And I think CM Punk's a steady hand. You go with a vet.
Okay.
The Undertaker's not walking through that door.
All right. I want your thoughts on this, and we can get out after this. But there was a day 3 years ago. Snyder actually is no longer the person that runs this franchise. Team was sold. Um, how do you feel 3 years removed from the Snyder era? Like, what do you see? What's your hopes? What's your dreams? What you think? And then we can get out off of this.
It's been a breath of fresh air under the Josh Harris, Magic Johnson, and company regime. Number one, once you told me Magic Johnson was on board, nothing like it in the world. That
Right.
I'm a big Magic fan. You a big Magic fan, so you know we good with that. But it's been a breath of fresh air, and then the way that they've been reaching back to the past and reaching out to people that were shunned and hurt, and it's like everybody's coming home now. You
Mm-hmm.
know, we have these events, but they're not called homecoming events like we're in high school.
Right.
We're having events where it's just like, hey, it's the celebration of the legends, but we don't do it once a year. We're doing it constantly. Every couple of weeks is a different legend being celebrated, and these are real legends. We're not saying, hey, come out and see legendary Redskin Lorenzo Alexander. The fuck did he do that was legendary? I mean, I love the one man gang, but what did he do was legendary? It's not. It's wonderful. It's like you've been in darkness for 20 some odd years, and you hear that song when they were coming out of the snow on Wizard of Oz. You're out of the dark, you're out of the light. You hear all that as you walking through, and it feels good, man. You see the Emerald City, and you can find the yellow brick road. I'm good. How about yourself?
Nah, this is one of the funniest days because I called my sister and my brother-in-law on the ride home because we just got the news, and I'm thinking I'm gonna get all the excitement in the world. So I called. I was like, "Yo, Snyder sold blah 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 blah." Because I started singing "Oh Happy Day" when I called my sister, and she was like, "What? What's wrong with you?" It's like Snyder just sold the team, and now we good. She's like, "Oh." And I was like, wait a second, hold on. Like I had to check the phone. I'm like, yo, you don't get the gravity of this. And then even she husband get on the phone. Hey, Snyder sold the team. It's official now. Oh. I was like, you know what? I'm not calling you black people for anything ever again. I didn't say it exactly like that, but you know what I mean.
I know what you said.
Like I'm not wasting my good energy on you. What's that movie? Oh, it's called Baby Daddy, where they have the surprise party, and like the wrong person walks the door, and they give them like the big happy birthday, and it's like, oh, wrong person, and then like 2 seconds later, Jon Stewart walks through the door, and like some random guy's like, hey, happy birthday, and like at that moment, the girlfriend runs to the back and is like, we wasted a good surprise on you, and blah 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 blah. Like I feel like I wasted a good surprise on them because like I expected everybody to be as happy as me. But then I also I think when that was all official, and part of the reason I had all the excitement was, we had the Burgundy and Soul party um on both radio stations. All the hosts from the stations were on the radio, hyping up the fact that Snyder's gone. Then Josh Harris gets on with Grant and Danny, and he's like, "Hey, I'm buying drinks for everybody at like I think he bought a beer for everybody at the bullpen that night or that day." So that was just amazing in its own right, man. So when I think about the time from where we were and where we are, I think the team's going to figure itself out. On the field, figures itself out. But you got to be thankful because it took Snyder 25 years to figure out a stadium plan. And every time he tried to do a stadium plan, the problem was he would nix the deal because he tried to bleed that county or that part of the town for money. Like, dog, they had a deal to be right there at the where MGM and all that is in the National Harbor. But the reason he didn't go through the deal is because he thought he could get more money from Virginia. Like, he was such a greedy, selfish bastard. He the only person that could take something that was the pinnacle 25 years ago, lose money every which way twice on Sunday. He made a radio network, failed terribly, miserably. Six Flags failed terribly, miserably. And I know what you could think, you got your boys John and all them, but the reason I say it failed is because somebody had to come in and rescue it. It's not still under his control. So when you see something like this and you get a guy that comes in and he automatically starts putting money into, the facility. They put money into the food. They're putting money into speakers at the stadium, all the stuff that should have been done beforehand. But now somebody wants to take care of it. Somebody wants to hold on to it because it's not just something that's out there. Like somebody said, and the most disturbing part was, I think B-Mitt said something like, "You're not spending a bunch of money on chairs for people in the front office. You're spending that money on the players that actually play." Like, can you imagine, like somebody sees the bill and it's like $100,000 chair for Bruce Allen's office, but you sitting there looking at 25,000 for a chef or whatever for a player, and you're like, nah, we can't do that. Like that's the beauty of where we were and where we're going and where we're headed to. So that's what I celebrate and enjoy on this day.
It is a happy day still, and I love it. So we come to that point in the show. Time to wrap that shit up, B, and get on up out of here. Midnight Rider, you want to go first?
Yeah, I got you. I'm gonna keep it simple. Olivia Miles, 33, 8 points, 8 rebounds. Minnesota Lynx, 6th straight win. That's all I got for you.
Well, all I got for you is tune in tomorrow night, 7:30 for Nothing But Net. C. Perry II, JG, this gentleman right here, the Midnight Rider. Get your NBA fix, because we still trying to figure out where the hell LeBron, can't make up his mind. Can't get right.
That song where she sings, "Where do we go from here?"
Yeah, that's pretty much where we at.
All right, man.
So until tomorrow for the Nothing But Net, we'll be back on Thursday as a team with a Mount Rushmore episode. I'm gonna throw some in the chat. Midnight Rider, you tell me which one you like, because I got a list here. So we'll announce that on Thursday afternoon. But until then,
No, let's announce it tomorrow.
Announce tomorrow. Okay, we'll work that tomorrow, and y'all can announce tomorrow. That's good. All right. So until then, that's the Midnight Ride. I'm the big guy, KG. Be safe in the storm because it's thundering right now. So we will see y'all later. We are out of here.